In his Book of Saints, Pope John Paul II called Candida Maria de Jesus a visionary. Blessed with a prophetic view of the modern world, her deep experience of God's love for each of His creatures led her to respond with generosity and dedication, expressing her love for others by founding the Congregation of the Daughters of Jesus. Her heart, hands, and mind anchored on one unyielding principle:
God wills it, God wills it, God wills it, God wills it, God wills it. Blessed be God who loves us so dearly. Blessed be God, blessed be God.
It was on May 31, 1845, when she first saw light in the Basque countryside of Anduin in Guipúzcoa, Spain, and was known to the world as Juana Josefa Tipitria y Barriola.
I am for God alone, I am for God alone, I am for God alone, I am for God alone.
She was a weaver's daughter whose life was destined to be a rich and colorful tapestry of unyielding trust and confidence in God's loving presence.
Where there is no room for the poor, neither is there room for me. Where there is no room for the poor, neither is there room for me.
Throughout her life, Candida Maria de Jesus lived and loved poverty above all. As the docile and pious Juanita, she spent much of her young life serving a wealthy family in Burgos, but held a special affection for those even more destitute than herself. But above all, she displayed a poverty of spirit and lived in absolute submission to the will of God.
Alone I can do nothing, but with God I can do everything. Alone I can do nothing, but with God I can do everything, everything.
On April 2, 1869, at the Church of Rosarillo in Valladolid, Juanita received a message from the Blessed Virgin. Despite her lack of means and education, God called her to found a congregation dedicated to the salvation of souls through the Christian education of women and the youth. Founded in Salamanca on December 8, 1871, these women are known then and now as the Daughters of Jesus, the Hijas de Jesús.
I will go to the uttermost parts of the world in search for souls. I will go to the uttermost parts of the world in search for souls.
The Hijas de Jesus embodied Mother Candida's vision of using the most suitable methods for education. She was a pioneer of social justice and women's rights, opening schools for girls of all social backgrounds. She designed her congregation to to provide educational institutions, retreat houses, medical dispensaries, and social service centers, apostolates which her daughters continue to serve even today among the neediest in the world.
God is a loving Father, in Him we put our trust. God is a loving Father, He'll never abandon us.
Throughout her life, Mother Candida was always aware of her humble beginnings and placed all her trust in God, whom she saw as a loving Father who will always provide for His children. Following the example of Saint Ignatius of Loyola, she would never tire of working for God's greater glory and encouraged everyone, especially her daughters, to do the same.
Without cross one gets nowhere, without cross one gets nowhere, without cross one gets nowhere, without cross one gets nowhere.
Prayer was all important in her life. Despite being a woman of action, she was also a contemplative, immersed in prayerful union with God at all times, which kept her serene even in trials and suffering. Mother Candida Maria de Jesus died in Salamanca, Spain on August 9, 1912. At the moment of death, she declared, "In my 40 years of religious life, I could not recall a single moment that I did not spend for God alone." Since then, the fame of her holiness has continued to increase. She was proclaimed blessed on May 12, 1996, and will be raised to the altar of saints on October 17, 2010.
The world is too small for my desires. The world is too small for my desires.
Indeed, the universalism of her charism has become a legacy to all hijas de Jesus. From its very first mission to Brazil in 1911, the congregation has grown and spread in 17 countries throughout the world. Driven by her example, the hijas de Jesus continue to educate, to catechize, to nurture, to heal, and to win souls for Christ, bringing joy, hope, and love in the name of Jesus, wherever God may call them.
In Jesus we have everything. In Jesus we have everything. Without Him everything we have is lost. In Jesus we have everything. In Jesus we have everything. Without Him everything we have is lost. In Jesus we have everything. In Jesus we have everything. Without Him everything we have is lost.